Hey guys, welcome back to Nick and Cameron. Today we have my 2004 Toyota Corolla S. I got it about 2 weeks ago. It's a 5-speed manual, which is actually, it's pretty fun. It revs to about 6,500 RPM, and we're gonna do a little quick walk around, talk about the exterior a little bit, and we're gonna look under the hood, talk about some of the problems with some of the stuff, how reliable it is, and then we're gonna go look at the interior, and then finally take it for a nice drive. All right, guys. So as you can see, the paint is a little heavily chipped. The way the pattern is, it looks like it used to have a bra on it. The paint in the middle is starting to oxidize, so this is just kind of the clear coat, kind of starting to peel up. As you can see down here, it's missing both of the front valances. There's supposed to be one on each side, little kind of front side skirt. It does have LED lights. They do work a lot better than my Sonoma that you've seen in other videos. They're not too fogged at all. It does have a little bit of oxidization on this plastic grill here. As we come around this way, you can see that it definitely kind of got scraped up against something, because there's some scrape and slight dents. There's a dent here in the door. And if you look at the door gap, it's actually a little off. So when you open the door, it squeaks. You have to kind of slam the door. As we follow it back, you can see on top that there's a lot more oxidization. Pretty soon I'll probably be fixing this, probably kind of repainting, just sand everything down and redo it. It does have the side skirts on both sides and this rear valance, but it is missing the passenger side rear valance, and it has the rear bumpers pretty messed up. Here in the next week, I'm going to be actually heading out to Hermiston to grab a new bumper that has the valances on it, along with a new wing, because the wing is also the clips. It has 2 bolts, one here, and then 2 little clips, one here and one here, and the clips are kind of worn out, and they're starting to just come out a little bit.
Active arrow.
Yeah, unfortunately the rear light has a little hole in it, but you can't really tell unless you're really looking for it. As we fall around this side, it has a couple dents here up in the, I think, what's the C-pillar, and then a few more scratches and everything. The doors on this side are all nice and good though. They shut like normal doors. Has a side skirt again. It has the 6-spoke alloy wheels. If you have a CE or a low LE, you get Steelies with the 6-spoke cover. Hubcap. And then for the S and the XRS, which is one level above this, for the trim level, you get the 6 spokes like that. At least for the 2003 and 2004. I'm not sure for the rest of the years, but for the 2003 to 2004, this general body style ran from 2003 to 2008. From 2009 is actually when they switched over to the full new big fat one. But for 2003 and 2004, the difference is on the front valance, it actually only goes underneath the bottom fog light, while 2005 and 2006 goes over, and then 2007, 2008, they kind of mess with the engine on the XRS a little bit.
Cameron didn't do any of this car, by the way.
Yeah, I just got this. I didn't do any of this damage. I'm actually going to be trying to fix most of this, along with a little bit of damage that's under the hood.
So we'll take a look under the hood next.
Yeah, so we're going to take a look under the hood next, and then we'll take a look at the interior. Alright guys, now we're under the hood. As you can see, it has a 16-valve VVTi engine that makes 130 horsepower. It is mated with a 5-speed transmission. It's a 1.8 liter. It revs to 6,500 RPM. I think it's the same engine for the CE, the LE, and the S. The only different engine for this model year, or for this body style, is the 2005 and 2006 has a 2ZZ GE engine. And that's for the XRS, and that one revs to 7,800 RPM. So this one it's basically just a little bit better tuned CE. It has pretty decent 0 to 60. The whole curb weight of the car is 2,500 pounds. The MPG, the listed MPG is about 31 city and 38 highway. I get around like with like a combined of 34, and I get around like 30 because it does have 208,000 miles on it, which is quite a bit for a car, but for a Toyota is very like not that hard. And also I kind of hoon it a little bit, you know, really rip through gears, really try to push it on the RPM because it's fun. Some of the issues under the hood, the belt down here is actually, you can almost start to see the, it's a little tacky actually, and you can start to see the like wire braid that goes in it, so I'm gonna have to get a new one of those. The valve cover, the previous owner replaced it and had it resealed, but it is leaking still, so, and the timing cover on the back side is also leaking. So the timing cover I think is like 4 hours to fix, so like a $300 fix, and the valve cover is probably another like $150 fix, and along with the belt it's probably not even $100. So we're gonna move on to the interior, talk about, you know, the mileage, the gauges, the seating positions, and everything else. All right, guys. Here on the interior we have all the controls you need. With the S, it has central locking along with central windows. It has the power mirrors over here, which is really nice. My previous car did not have that. There's a little switch right here that actually turns on the dome light. So if you look up, you can actually see the dome light on. And then just switch it off. For the actual gauges, you have a tachometer. You have the regular speedometer that actually has the kilometers as well as miles per hour. You have the engine temperature gauge and the fuel gauge, and then down here, if I just turn it on to accessory, you have the outside temperature along with the odometer, and actually has trip A and trip B, but that's about it. Just has all these different lights, all the regular stuff. For the wheel, it has a working horn and the SRS airbag, which is actually kind of dangerous because those shoot shrapnel. But the wheel for the S and the XRS is a leather wheel, and for the CE and the LE is actually kind of a like plasticky like wheel.
Kind of vinyl.
No, it's literally plastic.
Oh.
It's like kind of like a hard, weird plastic that's like a leather texture, but it's
Rubbery.
Yeah, it's very hard. As we move on to the center, we have just the 3 dials to control the AC along with the 3 buttons that recirculate, and we have the rear defrost in this car, which is nice. This is the passenger seatbelt button. There is a clock, which I'm not actually sure if it works.
It's really dim.
Super dim. You have the hazard lights. This is an aftermarket head unit. It's not sitting in there correctly because this is actually too long for the space. This is also aftermarket. The original head unit is like kind of slanted and it just slides all the way in. We have 4 vents up here, along with 2 vents on top, and then the defrost vent. For speakers, we have these 2 speakers up here, along with 2 speakers down the door.
Pretty standard.
As we move down, we have the 5-speed transmission shifter, which just, you know, sitting out in neutral. We have an e-brake, which is nice. We have 2 cup holders, and this is kind of more like a change holder, but I usually just put my phone there. For up here, we have this compartment, which actually is supposed to have a door, but like literally every single one I've seen has one of these nuts broken off. And then down here we have another compartment. We have the 12-volt, I think AC, DC or whatever, the 12-volt like cigarette lighter charger, and then in a center console, which is it's a decent size. It has another one of those chargers. As we move to the glove box is actually a decent size. As we move to the back, you can see that it seats 3 people snugly, and it has a rear cup holder right here, which is nice for the rear. So in total, it has 4 cup holders and a decent center console. It also has these headrests down here, and both the driver and the passenger side have mirrors. They don't have any extenders, so they're just like the OK size. It has the overhead mirror that has has like reader lights, but they don't turn on because the wire is not connected. It has the O-crap handles on all 3 of the passenger seats. The rear seats fold down to open into the trunk. It's a very large trunk. We'll show that right after this. After we show the trunk and how big it is, we'll hop in and take it for a spin. Alright guys, as you can see, the trunk is actually quite large. It has a 70-30 split of the rear seats, so when you pull on these levers, you can actually fold the seats down to fit longer items, such as maybe a snowboard. We've put snowboards in my brother's Camry, and this is about a similar size. You could probably fit a small cooler in here. Under here, you actually have the spare tire and the jack, along with the tire irons and stuff. That's pretty much about it for the car. We're going to go rip it around a little bit, show off its performance and handling, and then give our final impressions.
Okay guys, we're now taking it for a rip. It's pretty quick. We're gonna hit this little hill climb here. So, how does it handle, Cameron?
It handles pretty tight. It's not as tight as Kobe's Del Sol that we also have a video on, but it is pretty tight. The handling, I would say, is better than the newer generations of the Corollas, just because of the thin track that it's on, and like how low to the ground it is. It is probably similar to like a regular Civic, like a coupe or a sedan Civic. I've driven this a little bit, and it does have pretty good acceleration, as you saw. The top of first is about 60 miles an hour, which is
I said second gear was.
Maybe second.
I think second gear is top.
Yeah, and that's right at redline, which is at like 6500 RPM, which is quite high to be going all the time. So usually I'll coast around at around like 60 miles an hour in like fifth, just to kind of save on gas. I've tripped the tires, but I haven't really tried to. The clutch is a little touchy. It feels like it probably needs to be redone because it's just like non-existent. Like you have to really stomp it to the floor mats to get it to fully engage, so you can switch gears or even just start the car. It is kind of unfortunate that it's like that when I just got the car, but with a full clutch, it actually is, and it's a nice shifting experience, and it is easy to shift.
What about the road noise?
Road noise, it's a lot quieter than previous cars I've driven. It's not as quiet as some of the newer generations of the Corolla.
It's still kind of loud on the highway, though.
On the highway, it is pretty loud because compared
to my Volvo, if you guys have seen those videos, it's quite a bit louder.
Yeah. So we're gonna probably swing around one of these corners again, and that'll probably be it. We'll stop and talk about our final thoughts, and
what about
we'll see you next time.
Real quick?
The brakes feel nice. They're actually, I just checked them, and they're at about 6 millimeters on the front and rear.
So they need to be changed or not?
They have a little bit more life. Usually we recommend brakes at about 3, which is very low, and for drum brakes we recommend at around 1 millimeter of braking material. So
what are your final impressions, I guess, right now?
Well, I would say that it definitely needs something done with the suspension because it kind of clicks or something's rubbing. I'm not exactly sure.
Right wheel is just has a little rumble is all.
Yeah, so I'll get that figured out, but other than that, I thoroughly enjoy driving the car. I kind of wish it had power seats, but it doesn't. It's a nice driving experience. I like the 5-speed. The 6-speed would probably be better, but the 5-speed's nice. I would definitely recommend this as a starter manual or just as a fun rip around car because they're so cheap and so accessible to buy. I drove literally an hour south from my house, and this was the cheapest one in my area. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos on this as I fix it and on other videos of Jacob's Volvo.